Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is VJ and this is a brand new channel. I don't even have a name for the channel yet, but what we're going to talk about here, things related to getting married, having a family, career, all that stuff at the age of 40 or around the age of 40. So a little bit about me. I got married at the age of 39. I was a couple of weeks shy of 40 years old. I was a single mom. My children were practically adults, technically, and it was pretty life-changing. In a good way. So I just want to do a quick video if you're asking yourself if marriage is right for you. Now, of course, my perspective is going to be around myself, who's 40 years old, almost adult children, career, all that good stuff. So let's just jump right into it. One of the first things you need to ask yourself if you're trying to determine if marriage is right for you is, do you have a desire to be married? Like, I am a believer in God, and I feel that if you have a desire but for something deep in your heart, you have that desire for a reason. And if you've got a desire to be married, then marriage is for you. Now, am I saying it's easy? No. But if you have that desire, that typically means that you would prefer and probably even do better in a relationship than outside of one. So ask yourself, you need to have a really honest conversation with yourself. You don't have to tell me, you don't have to tell your family, but have an honest conversation with yourself about whether there's truly a desire there. And when I say desire, this isn't about what society tells you need to do. This is not about checking something off of your to-do list. This isn't about, everybody else in your family is married. This is about, do you truly have a desire to be married? So if the answer is yes, then marriage is probably right for you. Number 2, is it easy for you to be selfless? Because when you get married, it's no longer just about you. It's about you and it's about your spouse, right? So a lot of things that you were able to make only about you, and we'll make it even minor stuff like what you want to eat for dinner that night. Yeah, my husband and I all the time, we get different things for dinner because I'm so doggone picky. Most nights I try my best to be selfless and take him into consideration about what he wants to eat for dinner. And, it works for us. It's never a big thing, but it did take some adjusting to. When my children was little as a single mom, of course, I had to think about feeding them, but they got older and they were able to kind of fend for themselves. And then I got married and now it's like, okay, now I have a husband, and when I eat, especially because we have different schedules, I, really should think about, hey, babe gonna need something to eat too. So let me go ahead and pick him up something or make sure I cook enough. Another example that's a little bit more serious, and I'm gonna blame this on me being an Aries, is the need to be right. So if and when you get married, that selflessness comes in if you have a need to generally be right. So for me, again, I'm gonna blame it on being an Aries. I would always feel like, no, I need to explain and prove my point. But in this marriage, I've learned a lot that it don't even matter if I'm right or wrong, because I ain't got time to be going back and forth with this brother. In my mind, in my heart, I know I'm right, but sometimes I'm going to let him, have that moment. If he thinks he's right, which is most of the time, let him be right. Now, let's not get it twisted. There are some things that I will still go to bat for. There are some things that I would still need to make sure that he understands my point of view, or he understands where I'm coming from. But a lot of times, I've seen myself grow so much in this short time in my marriage from this perspective, that need to be right. I don't. Because for me, it's more important for us to be in a good space, a peaceful place, than for me to prove that I'm right. And I tell my husband this sometimes. It's not me versus you or me against you. We're really on the same team. So it doesn't even matter who's right or who's wrong, because if I'm trying to prove that I'm right, that means that you're wrong. And if you're trying to prove that you're right, that means that I'm wrong. But once we kind of shift that perspective to say we're both on the same team, it really doesn't matter. We just need to come to the happy place, the happy medium, and move on. So if it's easy for you to be selfless with little things and big things, that can be a sign that you definitely can make a marriage work, because it's not all about you. Even outside of a marriage, it's not all about you, but especially in a marriage, it ain't all about you. Last but not least, the third thing, and this is probably one of the more important things, is do you value a lot of alone time, privacy, and personal space? Because if you do, then maybe marriage isn't for you. And I'll explain. So it's okay to want alone time, your personal space. And for me, I think it's even healthy to have alone time, personal space, and privacy. But in a marriage, you do need to consider that other person. You do need to consider that this other person's going to live in the same household with you. You guys are going to, live together. You're probably going to work similar work schedules, so you'll be at the house together a lot. That bedroom that was just once yours, now you're sharing this space with somebody else all the time. And I'm not talking to you guys who are like, oh, me and my spouse, we gonna live in two different places. If that works for you, that's fine. But that's not my story. I'm speaking to the people who intend to live in the same place with their spouse, okay? So the thing that you have to consider now is the reasonable expectation of privacy is going to go down. It's still going to be there a little bit, but it's going to drastically go down. I'll give you some examples on both sides. For me, I still need privacy in the bathroom, okay? I know for some couples, they can come in there and, when the other spouse is in the bathroom, I still need bathroom time alone. As a woman, sometimes to get this all together, there's some aggressive things that need to be done. And I don't need you coming in the bathroom when I'm doing any of those things because, yeah. Now, if you needed something, it is what it is. But, for my sake and for your sake, bathroom time, I still need privacy, okay? But on the flip side, and I get a lot of flack from this, my husband and I, we always have our locations on. Like, I don't care that he knows where I am, and I know some couples, it's a no-brainer for them. That is a no. It's an absolute no. They would never, ever, ever share locations. Me, I want you to know where I'm at. So for two reasons. One, if something happened to me, you can come get me. Like, come get me. Come get me. You know exactly where I'm at. Two, I don't like being asked a lot of questions. So I'm more of a deep conversation person, not a pointless conversation like, what you doing? Where you at? Like, that kind of annoys me when people ask me questions like that. So for my husband, it's so easy for him to just look at his phone and see, oh, she's at Target. Oh, she's at the mall. Oh, she's at the nail salon. So it's been a good thing for me to have my location on and he have his on. I don't feel that my privacy is being invaded. I don't feel like none of that. But some people do, and I get that. If you're one of those people who that might bug you a little bit, in my opinion, I'm going to say marriage is maybe not right for you. It could be if you find somebody who is okay with that. These are some questions you need to ask yourself if you really, really have a high expectation or place a high value on marriage. It's not to say that you won't be able to find somebody or there's nobody out there that's like you, but most people who are looking for marriage, they are going to have a reasonable expectation that they're going to be giving up some of their privacy and you're going to be giving up some of yours. So those are a couple of things that I would ask anyone who thinking about getting married. Do you have a desire for marriage? How easy is it for you to be selfless? And how much do you value privacy, personal space, and alone time? Ask yourself those questions. And if you've got any more that you would recommend for anybody, drop them down in the comments. And while you're down there, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can continue to see more content from me like this. Guys, it's been so fun, but I'll see you next time.